Aren't we the most grateful for having such beautiful music to start us off?
Amen.
She's amazing. All right. Welcome, everyone online, our Zoom family, here in the service, people we love and care for. Hugs and kisses to everybody. I'm going to read from Jan Carlberg, The Hungry Heart, Walking Through Deep Waters. All God's children go through deep waters and trials by fire. There's no if, only when. But with the when comes a who. God never allows the children to swim alone. The buddy system is sink and fireproof. More sure than the when is the who. It is God who assures his children or her children, I will be with you when. Can you see God in your trials by water or fire? God says to you, I will be with you whenever, wherever, and forever. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Our Father, our Mother in heaven, and here with us today, love us, keep us, reach out to all that need us and need our help to raise them up, to keep them on the higher ground. We ask it all in the precious name of the way shower, Jesus, the Christ. Amen.
Amen.
And as we sit, we're going to have our thoughts go to the people that need healing. And we have a few in our lives, don't we? Including ourselves sometimes. So what we'll start is I will start the healing prayer. I will wait and there'll be a pause. And then you say the names of those people that you know need our healing prayer going to them. This is a way for us to manifest that healing. It goes out into the ether, and your vibration and your speaking of the name is what comes out and is just wrapping them in wonderful healing spirit. So here we are, and here we go. We ask the great physician, the one that has healed so many. And when we ask for that physician to reach and into that person's body or that person's heart or that person's mind to heal them of whatever they're suffering with, we know that it works. We know that they are receiving the healing power. And now we will say the names of the people that we love and care about in our lives that we know need that healing power. Marie Celeste, John Shaver. We feel the healing power wash over us, and we know that the healing power is washing over our loved ones and the ones that we have spoken aloud. We know that this can continue on and on and on because prayer is eternal. Amen.
Thank you very much. If you only know the first verse of every hymn, you might be a spiritualist. Just can I get an amen? First, I have to say, Doug and Bob, we know they're here with us.
Amen.
You know, when people say that when someone passes, they say we've lost them. Spiritualists have not lost them. We know where they are. They're all around and they're in our hearts. And so they live forever. Now, the second thing I need to say is I think there's some new people here. Sorry. You may have picked a bad side. You may have picked a bad Sunday to show up, but just know, just know that it's not always like this. And even I am not always like this. As I was thinking about, yeah, I am. Yeah, you're right. As I was thinking about what I was going to talk about and how I wanted to talk about it, hey, that camera's going crazy. It's so fun. Sister Rita Mae Ballantyne, who often works with me, said, I'm not doing that. And so Violet said, I will. So I want to talk to you today about something that most of us deal with at this time of year, leftovers. We got leftover food. We got leftover Christmas trees. We got leftover Christmas presents and wrapping and all that kind of stuff. And so this is a leftover sermon. As you can see, I write things down on Post-it notes. You know, when you're bored at work and you're searching or something pops up on Facebook, write it down on Post-it notes. And so I have all of these Post-it notes, but none of them are big enough to talk 20 minutes about. However, if we put them all together, we might find a little something, a little theme going on here. Who knows? So I'm going to expound on some of these. Some of them you may find helpful, just like leftovers. Some of them are good. They last for a long time. Some of them get stale right away. Some upset your stomach. So we're just going to see where this goes because I have lots and lots of interesting thoughts and I want to share them with you to take home. Put them on your little charm bracelet of things to know. Stick them in your wallet. Some of these you may have heard before. First want to start out with one of the eternal questions. What is our purpose in life, right? What is our purpose in life? What if the whole secret of the universe is something stupid or silly or simple, and we're the ones who are complicating it? What if the purpose of the universe is to be nice all the time? It may be something as, what if we get to the other side and we say, hey, God, what is the purpose of all this? And she's like, I don't know, figure it out. If I tell you everything, how will you learn? So we often think that our purpose in life is something grand, but it's something small, I think, in every day. Last time I spoke, I talked about the magic of the season and carrying it over. What if our purpose is to make someone's life better in a small way, however we can? When we open a door, when we don't talk smack like we like to do, when we don't say, oh, bless her heart. Here's another thing to think about. It may be that your sole purpose in life is simply to serve as a warning to others. You will have served your purpose, will you not? If you can't be a good example, you'll have to be a horrible warning. Words to live by. And I've also talked many times about a woman we met when we were searching for this building, Miss Ruby, who was a real estate agent and showed us a property, and that was not going to work out for us. But she took me aside and she said to me, there is a plan in place. There is a plan in place for each and every one of us. And surprisingly, you're probably living it. Sometimes it is a difficult plan, right? But we came here to learn lessons. Aren't you sick of that one? What was I thinking when I wanted to learn these lessons? But we do, don't we? We set up these things in our paths, and they can be obstacles or they can be opportunities. And so let's now think about what we want, what we think we want sometimes, because I made up a new word the other day. I auditioned for Murder on the Orient Express at Civic Theater back in November. And they're like, well, we'll let you know by the end of December whether you're cast or not. Usually in community theater, within the next week. And I'm like, whatever. I just have to whatever this. I just have to let it go and not fuss with it in my head. So I whatevered it. And I think that's what we have to do with a lot of things, especially with behaviors we don't understand. Whatever. My boss and I were talking the other day, and she had to do something she didn't want to do. And I'm like, well, you know what? The pay's the same. Whether they make us clean the toilets or make us do this, the pay's the same. So whatever. She's like, I really like that. And so it's like Rumi tells us. Rumi has a lovely poem where he talks about when I go after what I want so hard, it's like a fire, a furnace inside me that burns me. But if I wait and let what is meant to come to me, then I am at peace. Murder on the Orient Express opens in March, and I will be playing the role of Princess Dragomirov.
Congratulations.
Whatever. Jeremy, he's just a little plug for Jeremy. Music director, is that what your title is? His first time at Footlight Musicals. It opens this week, Friday, at Footlight, and it's called A New World? Songs for a New World. Did you ever think that would happen? Did you whatever it?
Yes.
Yeah. Whatever. What is meant to come to us comes to us. Even those icky things. Because no experience is ever wasted. Neither good or bad. Of course, that's all in our attitude. But I am sure that some of the stuff I have been through is bad. I know it's bad. That is my judgment call on that one. But nothing is a wasted experience. I have another whatevering example for you. I proposed some classes at Camp Chesterfield, and one of the ones I'm very excited about was chosen. It's about interior castles by Teresa of Avila. So then I have to reread the book, right? So I have had a copy of it for a long time. I got a copy of the interior castle with the spiritual commentary. And then one I've forgotten that I ordered, the interior castle with a study guide. Plus I have Carolyn Mace's book, Entering the Castle, which is her take on interior castles. But as I'm rereading this, Teresa says, even if nobody reads this, I will have learned something. No effort is ever wasted. At least you will have learned something. And it is our ego that makes us feel the need for people to acknowledge our knowledge, right? Yeah. We put together classes because we want to share the knowledge. And frankly, I want to put together classes, but I don't want to actually do the stuff in the class. And, that occurred to me that maybe you should have some experience with this before you try to teach it. But that's a Sagittarian thing, I understand. So there you go. So nothing is ever wasted. Isaac Asimov, who is a science fiction writer, said that great discoveries don't begin with eureka. They begin with, that's funny. And I think that's part of our spiritual journey. When we come across something and we go, I never thought of that before. and then we think, which is wonderful because most people go through their lives not thinking, right? But spiritualists have to think all the time because it's a natural law thing. How is what I am about to do going to affect other people? There's that part. And the other part is, how is what I am about to do or say or think going to affect my cosmic career? So it is not just how you affect people in the here and now. It is how you affect the vibration of the world by your thoughts. Do you want to come back and do some of this same stupid stuff again? Then don't do it. We got to get over it. And it is not enough to say. It is not enough to say, I just won't do that anymore. We have to figure out why we do what we do. We have to get to the root cause of it so we can heal that. We only do, no way, that's an allness statement. No allness statements. We make a lot of mistakes when we're young. It's what being young is for, right? Some of us make worse ones than others, but anyway. But once you know things, once you know what this is all about, then you are held responsible for it. You can be forgiven for foolish things that we do in our youth. I did a lot of them. Did you guys? Wasn't it fun? Some of it comes back to bite you. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it was just a learning experience. But once you know what you are responsible for violating those laws and principles. Somebody's writing it down in that Akashic record. But here's a wonderful tradition in Islam. There's an angel who writes down everything that you do. But she waits 48 hours in case you correct it. And then it is erased. Yay, you got 48 hours. And you know this little divot right here? That's what happened when you were incarnated. And in order for you not to remember your past lives, to experience this life new, an angel pressed its finger on your lip. Isn't that lovely? I didn't have that one written down. I made that up all by myself. Hey, only people who aren't happy with themselves are mean to others. Yeah. Oh, I love this one. Someone out there is holding their breath, waiting for you to fail. Make sure they suffocate. I love that one. Yeah. And you know what? Going back to figuring out why you do what you do, it is so important. Is it to step back and say, why do I do that? I have a really bad habit of, first of all, saying yes right away to things that people ask me to do. And then I'm mad, right? Or if I have a new thought or an idea or somebody comes to me with something, for some reason, my first thought is always that won't work. Well, how dumb is that? So I've learned to say, let me think about it. And I've noticed that tendency of mine to think that things are not going to manifest. And so that's the thing I'm working on. Why do I do that? In many instances, it's learned behavior. That's the way my mother was. And I learned that from her. I also learned something else. I was trying to think of wise things that my mother said to me, and there were virtually none. But my parents were both smokers. When I was like 10, 11, 12, something like that, I said to my mom, when can I start smoking? She said, when you can buy your own cigarettes. I've never smoked. That is probably the wisest thing my mother ever said to me. And that's just precious. And you know what? Sometimes your future can't fit in because of your past, because you are hanging on to all of those things that no longer matter, that are holding you back. When we're young, we're such clay that needs to be molded, right? And we often don't know who we are. And so we show up in relationships the way we think that the person wants us to show up. We be who somebody needs us to be. And then we get old and we don't care anymore. Yeah. That is one of the advantages of living a long time. And one of the best things I have to say is to find a sacred companion who lets you be who you are.
Amen.
I got one.
I know. I'm jealous.
And I love that term, sacred companion. That just covers, oh, look how long I'm going. So I need to kind of tie this up. I do have some very other important things to tell you because I need to address mediumship, clairvoyance, this kind of thing. So first, I came across a saying by somebody. I didn't write his name down because I knew I couldn't pronounce it. Somebody says to him, how should we treat others? And he answers, there are no others. Isn't that powerful? There are no others. And I read a little biography about him. He was a spiritual advisor. And I thought, we don't really have spiritual advisors anymore. And I'm thinking, if I had a spiritual advisor, what would I ask them? And I'm like, I don't know, because I believe that God is an unfathomable mystery. I know about natural law. I've read plenty of stuff. There's the key. I have read plenty of stuff. There were a lot more spiritual advisors before the advent of the printing press and before everybody could read. So we have spiritual advisors now in the things that we read, but we have to remember it is their point of view. We do not have to agree with everything that we read. We get to think about it and we just put it aside. If it is important, it will come back to you later to be reconsidered. How many times? Oh my gosh. I sat through a class on the tree of life with, what's his name? Marilyn's Father John? Rosner. Mike and I were in it. At one point, I turned to Mike and said, I have no idea what's going on. I have a little better idea of it now. So, you just tuck it aside. And if you're meant to learn it, it will come to you, right? Everything that you need comes to you if you let it and stop resisting it and take opportunities and step out in faith. Be bold and mighty forces will come to your aid.
Amen.
That's Goethe. I have it. Those of you who have been to my house, it's painted on my wall on the stairway. Be bold and mighty forces will come to your aid. And some of those mighty forces are in spirit and they help you with your mediumship and with your clairvoyance. Mavis Patilla, this is one of the most important things I learned from her when we were fortunate enough to sit at the feet of the master. She said, just like on the earth plane, there's word of mouth on the spirit plane. They know who the good mediums are and who are not. Be one of them that they want to come to. And both Mavis and Janet Nahovic emphasized this. No mediumship class will help you with your own baggage. If you are not in control of your own body and mind, you should not be doing this work. They emphasized that you have to know who you are. What are your triggers? Why do you respond the way that you do? Unless you know yourself, just like over the doors of ancient mystery schools, man, know thyself. You have to know yourself if you are going to be the most effective spirit communicator that you can be in however you use it in your life. Mavis said to us, I'm capable of changing my thinking because I am listening to my soul. My soul tells me who I am, not what I learned from my tribe, not those ways I think I'm supposed to be. And finally, Janet said, what caliber of person do you want to be as a reader, or as a medium, or as a person? What caliber do you want to be? I read a book one time called Joy's Way. Somebody recommended it to me. Oh my God, it was life-changing for her. I thought it was stupid. There's the difference, right? But there were 3 things he said in there that I found very powerful. He said, these are 3 things you need to live by. Make no comparisons, make no judgments, and delete your need to understand. And the example I use for that is, okay, like when somebody broke up with us, I've been dumped. I know you're surprised. And you're like, well, why? And they're like, well, because blah, blah, blah. And you're like, well, but why? No, I don't like that. And it's why, and why, and why, and why. And it gets you nowhere. There are times to question things when you are investigating, question authority, right? But there are sometimes you have to go, okay, whatever, whatevs. So I think that's all the little tidbits, the little leftovers I have to share with you. And this is what I kind of thought about this whole thing. You know, quilts, you're all familiar with quilts. And the idea of quilts is to use what's left over to make something more useful. And it's tiny pieces. And sometimes it is fabric that you like. Sometimes it is fabric that you don't like because you need to use it. You have a whole bunch of it. Sometimes it is just what you have at hand because you have nothing else. The quilts of Gee's Bend, all made of denim because it's all they had. And we piece together our life like that. These little notes, they become part of the whole. All these little things that come to you every day contribute to the magic of your life, the magic of your quilt. So let's go out there, kids, and whatever.
I'm grateful that everybody's let us go over a little bit today because we had such a special service. And sometimes you just let spirit run, and that's what's happened. We have had wonderful, wonderful messages today. Reverend Susan was at really the top of her game. Thanks. And Reverend Mike is always special. And we're grateful for each of you for standing here as powerhouses, as batteries, as bringing in those spirits when we have our messages. We're grateful for new people. We're grateful for the twins. We have not seen them. Look how tall they are. And I am so grateful that each one of you came today because I got to pull in some energy too. It's all about me. So let's sing hymn 23, verse 1 and 2, and then after the benediction, let's hug everybody from a distance. all God's children say, Amen.